Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything on the range with the West Greene Buffaloes. As always, I'm joined here with Buffaloes head coach Evan Monroe. Coach, how you doing this week?
Pretty good.
Weather's feeling fine. Hey. It's not too cold yet.
No, feels
That's a good thing.
It's big boy weather.
I guess so.
It's big boy weather. I woke up in the morning, it's 35 degrees. I walk outside. I ain't sweating. It's a good time.
You wake up, it's 35, and you throw a toboggan on, pants, hoodie, and then you get out here later in the day, and it's high 60s, low 70s with the sun out. You got to strip down by the time you get to practice.
Hey, I usually wear – the past couple days I've had hoodie and sweatpants on for the gym, and then I get here, I usually shed hoodie, then my sweatpants, and then I'm T-shirt and shorts, and I'm good to roll.
You're moving around a lot out there, too, so I can understand.
Yeah.
Hot or cold, you probably break a sweat out there during practice.
Sometimes I get after it a little bit and rant and yell and rave, and sometimes I get a little sweaty yelling at them.
Hey, sometimes you do break a sweat when you yell.
Hey, sometimes you got to. Let them know you mean business.
Let's talk about Friday night a little bit. Played Sullivan East here. Actually, Thursday night. I forget about that. Another weird week last week. Played on Thursday, bumped it up, had senior night on Thursday night against the Patriots. Talk about how great of a night that was for senior night and how you enjoyed playing on the field.
You know, you only get so many games as a senior, and you only get so many at home. And so for our boys, I told them, guys, enjoy this last one. It's our last home game. Last chance you get to play in front of a home crowd. You've probably got family in the stands. Go just play your butts off. Go play hard, have a little fun. And, you know, that's what we did. We played our butts off. We had a little fun doing it. And, you know, the guys, I think they're just soaking it in and trying to enjoy these last couple weeks.
And you knew they were going to have an air raid offense coming in. You know they were going to attack you in the passing game, and that's what they did too.
Yeah.
Hard to stop, but that's exactly what you prepared for. Were they who you thought they were in the end?
You know, you hear air raid in high school, and you think, okay, they're going to dink and dunk you to death. Quarterback, there was one. They're coming in towards the field house, and our defensive back's playing great coverage. He's on the kid's hip, goes to put a hand up. You got a safety coming over, reading it. There's three guys converging on him, and the kid hits a kid right here in the hands, dropped it in the bucket. I mean, if he puts it a foot either direction, it's probably broke up. I mean, the kid had a cannon. You know, he's leading the state in passing for a reason. He's a talented kid. I think I looked on Max Preps to see kind of where he ranked, and I think nationally he was 22nd in the nation in passing yardage, and he was leading the state of Tennessee by I think the closest guy was 450 yards behind him.
Wow.
So, you know, you don't get those kind of stats without being very talented, and you don't get those stats without a lot of help from your receivers. All I know is Big 12 for them still running down the field. We still ain't covered him in green grass yet. You know, it wasn't for a lack of trying. He's 6'5", 225. And I know it sounds weird saying you lost 6'5", 225 out on the field somewhere. But, you know, he found the green grass and just kind of sit down. You know, stuff that they work on. Hey, find the green grass, sit down, dink and dunk it to him. And they did that. And, you know, they had a great game plan coming in. But, you know, I thought we played pretty well. You know, you flip a play here or there. We don't fumble going into the end zone down here. You know, that gives us a chance. So, you know, it's one of those things. Yeah, it didn't end the way we wanted it to, but, you know, the guys made a memory out of it. That last game's always a little special. You know, this is a special place to get to play football. I think there's a lot of pride in this community for athletics in general. And so, you know, to get to come out, last chance to play with your brothers at home, special time.
And you had some good offensive performances, too. You still put 28 points on the board, and you were able to get in the end zone 4 times. A majority of those were from seniors also, which is special for them to score one last time on their home field. I know Bax Britton had a good night, too. He had a 17-yard receiving touchdown, 7 catches, 73 yards in the touchdown. Dawson got in via the tush push or the brotherly shove, whichever one you want to refer to it as. Old school, it used to be just the QB sneak, but Philadelphia's kind of revolutionized that now and given it a few different names. Hit a good night passing, 9 of 20, 92 yards and a touchdown. And then Austin Franklin had probably the most electric play of the night, almost a 100-yard return touchdown.
I think that ended up being a school record.
Did it really?
I think the old record was 97. I think his officially was a 98.
Okay.
So I think he broke the school record for that. So that's pretty cool for him to get that record.
That's awesome to see, too, because a lot of times you don't see records broken in a game. And for it to happen the last time on your home field, that's a pretty special moment that I think he'll always hold with him.
Yeah, and, in high school, if it's close to 97, 98 yards on that 2-yard line, most of the time they just let it roll.
Yeah.
And just go in the end zone, take it on the 20, and go. But, for him to field it as deep as he did, and, what's funny about that play is we had a kid get offsetting penalties after the whistle as a dead ball fouls offsetting penalties. Well, if he doesn't get that penalty because him and the kid were kind of rolling around, wrestling each other, looked like it was a wrestling match instead of a football game, that kid probably makes that tackle about the 45-yard line. But because the other kid kind of held him down for a little bit, Frankie just bloop, and ran right where that kid should have been. The ref kind of, I don't know if he made the right call or not, but, he gave us the touchdown anyway. And I ain't going to complain about it. It's pretty cool that Frankie got to get that touchdown. I joked with the kid. He kind of his neck was he kind of tweaked his neck a little bit. And, Monday in film, we're sitting down watching, and we watched that one, and I told Jeffrey, I said, way to stick your neck out for your teammate. And he kind of laughed, and a couple of the boys laughed. The rest of them just kind of looked at me like, which is kind of the look I get a lot of times when I crack jokes that they don't get. But, I'm proud of our effort. I told them, play hard for 4 quarters. You only get so many. Go play your butts off. And they did, and I can't fault them for that.
Something that didn't click in my mind until just now, too, is I talked about Dawson having 9 completions. 7 of those came from BB.
Yeah.
A great night for both of them to be able to hook up on their senior night.
Those two bicker like an old married couple in practice because – that he had a lot of his catches on the bubble where it's kind of RPO look, we'll fake the dive and then he'll flip it out to the bubble. And we'll practice that, and I swear those two might complete one in practice every time we rep it. We'll rep it 5, 6, 7 times in practice. They might complete one to each other. And Dawson will look at BB and say, why don't you catch a ball? And BB will fire back, why don't you throw me a ball worth catching? And they just kind of bicker back and forth, and they're just, they're good friends. They just aggravate each other. So for them to kind of connect and get those yardage and get that completions, it was good to see BB finally get in the end zone. I was tickled for him when he went and scored. I'm standing on the sideline like, throw it down. There he is. Throw it. And Dawson saw him and flipped it out to him, and it was a good catch, good route. I'm glad to see BB get in the end zone.
You had a young kid play good, too. Ian Kiefer, 165 rushing yards.
Ian's a senior.
Is he?
Ian's a senior.
I thought Ian was a young kid.
No, Ian Kiefer's our back that we've had all year.
I knew that, but I thought he was younger.
No, he's a junior. He's a senior.
Okay, well, I got that one wrong. So, did all of your touchdowns come from seniors?
Yes.
Okay.
He was supposed to be a junior. He's a homeschool kid.
Okay.
And he reclassified this year, unfortunately, for us. Great for him because he can go do whatever. But unfortunately for us, he reclassified as a senior, and he'll be graduated at the end of this year. So, I hate that he doesn't get another year of football because he's really just now figuring out how to play. Last year was his first year ever playing football. And so Ian has made huge strides this year. And, if we could put him through another offseason and let him another year of figuring out how to play, he'd have been a monster for us. But, I can't fault him. He's ready to be out and do his thing. And so, I'm proud of him for getting accomplished what he had to do to be able to reclassify as a senior. So, Ian's he's a great kid. He don't say a whole lot, but he comes and shows up. He works his butt off, and that's all you can ask from kids.
So all of your touchdowns came from seniors, correct?
All of them.
Okay, that's an even better night on senior night when
Yeah.
all your touchdowns come from seniors too. Ended up resulting in a loss, but still a great night whenever you get to play at home and give those seniors one last opportunity to get into the end zone. And you had 4 different ones get in the end zone, which is pretty special also. It wasn't like it was majority one player. You had 4 different players to spread the wealth out, but you got 1 game left on the season.
Yeah.
Crucial game. Coming down to the end of the year right here. We'll go ahead and preview that in just a minute, though. The Buffs got the Happy Valley Warriors coming up this Friday night, so we'll go ahead and preview that right after the break here on Grassroots Media.
At Corner Pond, the friendly and knowledgeable staff has the experience necessary to help you out regardless the need. Have an item of value you'd like to pawn or sell? Corner Pond can help. They pawn numerous items of value, including firearms, tools, ammunition, silver, coins, and much more. When you walk through their doors, you'll find well-stocked shelves full of electronics, gaming systems, fishing and hunting equipment, car audio and accessories. And don't forget about the room full of guitars and basses and amplifiers, or their outside lawn and garden equipment. Corner Pond is a case knife dealer and carries numerous used knives as well. Stop by and let the friendly staff at Corner Pond help you today at 432 East Bernard Avenue, Greenville, Tennessee. Remember those days when life was simpler and every corner held a treasure just waiting to be discovered? Pettit's Market was a place where memories were made and where stories were woven. Here you'll find more than just goods. You'll find a piece of the past wrapped in the embrace of today. Pettit's Market is where neighbors become friends, friends become family, and good food and love holds everything together. So step inside, make memories, eat good, and leave happy. Pettit's Market, the little store with a big welcome.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything on the range with the West Greene Buffaloes. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Evan Monroe.
Oh, wait, we don't do this on the second half.
No.
It's weird.
We could. It's been weird this whole season. I mean,
Hey, I don't even know what's happening.
You're playing on what?
Friday
night this week?
Friday
We've got
night.
games on Thursday night this week, too. I'm still trying to wrap my head around everything.
Hey, it ain't been a normal season at all.
No,
We've had
not for anybody.
We're like the NFL. We've got Sunday night football. We got Monday night football. We got Thursday night football. We've had Saturday football.
Mm-hmm. We've had some teams.
I think we've
around
had
the
a game
area.
in London.
Yeah.
I mean, we've
flown them overseas.
Yeah, it's been a wild season.
It has been a wild season coming down the last game of the regular season now.
Yeah.
Got Happy Valley going on the road down to Carter County again, a place that you've been very familiar with this year, as I remember. Talk about what you expect going into Friday night. Tough matchup with the Warriors. They've really turned their season around. What do you expect out of them?
You know, Happy Valley kind of had a rough start to their season. They were trying to figure out some things. I think they had a couple guys get injured in some scrimmages early, and they were just kind of scrambling those first couple games, trying to figure out what's going to work for them. Took them a couple games to figure it out. Once they figured it out, man, they've been off to the races, and they've been playing very, very well. You know, I look at their backfield. They've got a couple of guys that are pretty good running backs. Big 34, man, he's a load. You watch on film, man, he if he's coming to block you, he's coming to block you with a purpose. He's not just going to come up and just he's going to come and lay the wood to you.
He's going to lift.
He comes with a purpose. And then, you know, the other kid, number 5, he's not as big. He's not as big of a physical, but you know, he runs like his tail's on fire. He runs hard, and so you know, those two make them go. But you don't get that kind of running attack without some big boys up front, and they may not be the biggest kids that we've seen this season. You know, last week we saw a couple 300-pounders up front that were pretty good linemen. But gosh, they get after it. They may not be as big, but they get after it. They block hard. They know their job is to block, and if they don't block, then they don't win. So they go and block like as hard as they can every play, and you better have your chin strap on tight because they're coming to run right at you. And, I think that's what we'll see Friday night is a heavy dose of 34, a heavy dose of 5, and them running right at us saying, see if you can stop it. And if we can stop it, more power to us. If we can't, then we might be in for a long night.
Going up to Carter County twice this year against Cloudland and Hampton, this
is third trip.
This is your third, but you've been up there twice before this season. Do you think that kind of helps going into this season because they're sort of similar play styles where you're playing teams like to run the ball a lot with big boys up front? Happy Valley's offense is very similar to Hampton's too.
Yeah.
Do you think that kind of benefits you going into this game that you've played Cloudland and Hampton on the road in Carter County this year?
A little bit. It's a bus ride they're familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we're going to Eagleton where we don't know where we're going or what we're doing. You got to pass Happy Valley to get to Cloudland. You got to pass Happy Valley to get to Hampton. It's something that it's a familiar bus ride. It's not a bad bus ride for us. And so, I think seeing that style of play and knowing how to check on defense to handle that style helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You can go back and look at film and say, hey, when they line up like this, we lined up right here. We're not lined up right. This is how we have to get lined up. And so it gives us a chance to go back and look and see and critique and fix mistakes that we had against Hampton and be better prepared going into it Friday night.
Talk about how crucial this game is also. I know a lot of people watching this already know how crucial it is, but it comes with a lot of playoff implications. As of right now, you are not locked into the playoffs. You would need to win this game. You would need to have help too.
Yes.
Talk about how crucial it is and what it comes down to at the end of the season now.
Every team wants to make playoffs. If we take care of business earlier in the season, we're not sitting here going, well, we got to win this one and then we got to have a little bit of help. I think early in the season, if we play with a sense of urgency and play like we had the last game and a couple other games this season, I think we're looking at going in the playoffs. Right now, we got to win just to give ourselves a chance, and then we got to have some help from Cumberland Gap beating Eagleton to get into 4. So playoffs aren't completely out of the question, but if Gap doesn't beat Eagleton, it doesn't really matter. So I tell the boys, hey, win, lose, or draw, probably our last game of the year. Let's have a little fun. If we win, great. We're still waiting on Eagleton and Gap. If somehow Gap pulls off a win, hey, we're in the playoffs. And so, we're still focused. We're still practicing as hard as we can. We're still getting after it. We're still preparing like we still got a shot. And, so we understand that this is a huge game for us. It's most likely it's our last game of the year. So for these seniors, I'd say about all of them, it's the last time they'll put on helmet and shoulder pads.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's a.
I think that gives you enough motivation right there.
Yes, it's all the motivation they need. Boys, it's your last ride. Go play your butts off. Only thing we can really do right now is go ruin somebody else's season. And if we can go make somebody else mad and ruin their season because we beat them, more power to us. So I know. I think South Greene might be big Buffalo fans this week because
possibly
if we win, that would knock Happy Valley down to 3 and they end up in the 2 spot. And if they take care of business at Hampton, so there's a lot of this last week, a lot of region implications on the line.
It's still not set.
And
with it being week 11 and the TSSAA setting all games to be region games, it's hectic this week.
Yeah. A lot of teams are sitting and going, we might be in, we may not be.
You don't know who you're playing week 1, whether you'll be on the road, whether you'll be at home.
And, so I like it. I like that this last game of the year, nobody has a bye.
Mm-hmm.
And every game's a region game, so every game is important.
Yep.
It gives meaning to this last game. And, some years you're playing a non-region opponent this last game, and it don't really matter.
Yeah, sometimes I've seen teams schedule a bye week last week.
Yeah, get an extra week before playoffs, get rested up before playoffs. I've seen that. And so, I like that, hey, week 11, you're playing a region game, and it's going to be an important one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all for it. I'm glad that I kind of like what TSSAA did with that one.
And as always, too, at the end of every interview, what are your 3 keys to success you need to carry out this week against Happy Valley in order to get a win?
The first one is you got to stop 34 and 5. You got to stop the run. You got to shut those 2 down. That's the 2 that really make them tick and really make them go. That's not saying they don't have other athletes that can hurt you, but that's a 2-headed monster in the backfield that really makes them go. And so if we can stop the run and stop those 2, that's a huge key for us. Second key is I want to see us up front be more nasty than they are.
Okay.
Play with a little nasty up front. Have an intensity about us that we're going to go and we're going to control this line of scrimmage. I think if offensively, defensively, doesn't matter. If we can control the line of scrimmage and wear them big boys out up front, I give ourselves a shot at it. And as always, score more points than the other team.
As always,
you can't win a ball game if you don't score more points. It is.
It's impossible.
There's been a couple times this year we've not scored more points than the other team, and it's not worked out well for us. So the times we have scored more points, it's worked out well for us.
You got to keep it simple.
Yeah, I'm a simple guy. I don't do a lot of complex things. Thinking is. I've been told thinking's not my strong suit.
So it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
My wife tells me all the time I'm not thinking. Chances are I'm probably not. So my wife keeps me in check.
Need somebody to keep you straight.
Hey, married her for a reason. But third thing, just we got to run the ball better. We got to run the ball hard. I think if we keep the ball out of their hands and get them kind of antsy on defense, I think they're going to be so antsy to kind of suck up and try to stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
We might be able to get one over the top on them. Can I add a fourth key?
Of course.
All right. I just want us to have fun. Have fun. Well, we had fun Thursday at Sullivan East. We had 2 fake punts converted on one drive.
I remember that now.
We had 2 fake punts. We had a 98-yard kickoff return. We got a kid a touchdown that hadn't scored all season.
Tush push.
We had some fun. And I know we get caught up in all the playoffs and everything, but really this is a game. And we're here to do a couple things. One, help young men become better. Be the best version of themselves they can be. Here to win and have a little bit of fun along the way. And so, our season may not have went the way we've wanted to so far, but we can end it on a high note. We can have fun doing it. We can make somebody mad along the way. I'm all for it.
Have you seen any flies floating around in here?
I've seen a couple. I think we're going to have to call Hans Pest Control and Extermination.
I don't know if we have a number for that yet. Should we get the school email up here?
We'll put the school number.
We'll put the school email up here for you.
You're going to have to shoot me your school email. I don't know it, so I'm going to have to need that later on for me to put that in there. But anyway, you might have seen that clip. I might have just shown it to you. If not, I'll show it right now.
Don't move.
Hadouken! Oh, he got it!
But that was pretty funny right before we cut this on. I didn't think he'd actually.
It was impressive. He snuck up on it.
You tried that earlier in the year also, and it didn't work. So I'm happy to actually see it happen.
Hey, he about took out the microphone the last time he tried it.
Yeah, I do remember that, yeah.
It landed right on the microphone, or lighter on the helmet. And he come in, about took out the whole microphone.
Yeah, I don't know if I still have that clip in here. I don't know if I still have that one. I'd have to dig back and find that. Coach, that's all we've got this week. Thank you once again for sitting down with me. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Pettit's Market, or you might want to refer to it as the Hans Pest Control Evan Monroe Show. That's all we've got for you. We look forward to seeing you all next week here on Grassroots Media.
Go Buffs.